All right, guys. So another piece of the puzzle put together for the Steelers ahead of Week 1. This one was kind of the domino that most people expected to fall. There wasn't too many surprises when it comes to the starting quarterback for the Steelers. But yes, Russell Wilson named the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh for Week 1 against Atlanta. Mike Tomlin announced that today. And again, not really a surprise. We've heard all offseason that, Russ is in pole position. Justin will be given a chance to compete, which he did. He did an admirable job. It didn't do enough to, pull away and make it very evident that, they should do it Week 1 at least. Even though Fields isn't starting, expect to see him in some capacity. They'll have a package of plays for him. Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported that a few weeks ago. Mike Tomlin today on the Rich Eisen show hinted at it as well. So even though Russ is the starter, we'll see Justin Fields in some way, shape, or form on the field with a package of plays. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so for tons of Steelers videos throughout the week, tons of NFL content as well. So that's kind of the biggest news to start off this show, at least. But there was another potential really bad news. Isaac Seumalo left practice today with a pectoral injury. That was from Adam Schefter. And recently, just 2 minutes ago, Adam Schefter put out initial tests showed that Steelers guard Isaac Seumalo did not suffer a season-ending pectoral injury. The team is still weighing how long he could miss, but as one source said, we dodged a bullet. So, about an hour ago, Schefter had put out that Seumalo had left practice with a pec injury. Steelers fans didn't know how severe it was. It's now revealed that it's not season-ending, and it appears that he's going to be okay. It's just a matter of how long he is going to miss, which could be, I've seen some people, say it could be anywhere from potentially 4 weeks, to maybe 6 weeks. And if that's the case, then the Steelers are going to be potentially having 3 rookies starting on the offensive line. When Troy Fautanu is healthy, Zach Frazier, and then potentially Mason McCormick if Seumalo misses time. Now, there is a chance that they would put in Spencer Anderson as well at guard, but Mason McCormick had a pretty nice preseason, and I wouldn't be surprised if they let him start in relief of Seumalo. Now, again, depending on how long he's out. Nothing is come out in terms of the length of the injury yet, but the fact that they thought it could be season-ending potentially, I would be very surprised if he ends up playing Week 1. So that certainly puts a damper on things for the Steelers. I thought that the biggest news was going to be Russell Wilson being named the starter, even though it's, at this point, that's not really news, right? It was kind of expected throughout this entire process that Russ would be the starter. Not really surprising to anybody. The Seumalo stuff, though, that's not great. Man, it's good that's not season-ending. But when you lose your best offensive lineman, and by the way, the Steelers have been really good with health so far this offseason. They haven't had any sort of severe injuries. Roman Wilson missed a lot of camp in the preseason with a sprained ankle, but he should be all systems go sooner than later. Troy Fautanu had a minor knee injury. He should be back and better than ever, hopefully within the next week. We talked about it today. He's going to try to practice next week, and his status for Week 1 is still up in the air. But nobody's missing anything long-term until potentially now, depending on how long Seumalo is going to be out. Last year, it was the complete opposite story, where Cam Hayward went down Week 1. Deontay Johnson went down Week 1. Minka Fitzpatrick missed 7 games last year. Their entire linebacking core was banged up. Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander, their safeties all missed time. So they weren't dealt a really good bill of health last year, combined with a bad offensive line and bad quarterback play. Somehow still won 10 games. I know that I've harped on that a lot this year, but putting all of that into perspective, I know that everybody talks about 2019 being Tomlin's best coaching job. I think that 2023 was the better coaching job. Because, they won 8 games with Mason and Duck. but the defense was also pretty healthy that year and very good. Last year, defense wasn't healthy. The quarterback stunk. The offensive line stunk. And they won 10 games and made it to the playoffs. That was Tomlin's best coaching job. Hopefully, we don't have to talk about a lot of injuries this year that they have to overcome. So let's hope that the Samalo injury isn't long-term. Let's hope that he is back and healthy and ready to go. I mean, they went to extra lengths to make sure that he was healthy. I mean, he had a lot of off days during camp just to ensure that, he was going to be all right. A lot of veteran off days. And even then, like still going into practice, and they at least practice with a pec injury, that's less than ideal. And so they're really going to be leaning on, all right, Zach Frazier, all right, Mason McCormick, 2 rookies on the interior with James Daniels. By the way, good thing they didn't move James Daniels. At least, not yet. I mean, it's possible that they do, but, it's a good thing that they didn't pull the trigger on that if there were any sort of trades that were going to be in the air for Daniels. Because now he might be the only vet on the interior for the foreseeable, first month or so of the season. And then when you've got another rookie on the outside, like their entire right side might just be rookies. There's going to be Frazier in the middle. I guess Daniels is on the right side. So disregard that. I got my guards mixed up. But regardless, 3 rookies on the offensive line. Even if you have high expectations for them, I mean, there's going to be growing pains there more than likely. I like Mason McCormick. But, he's not Isaac Samalo, at least not yet. Could he become that? Sure. And that would be if he does, I mean, that's a great 4th-round pick by the Steelers. But as of right now, your best offensive lineman goes down and then you turn to a rookie. That's a downgrade. Not to mention the fact that everything's still up in the air with Roderick Jones and Dan Moore. So I have a bad feeling that the first month or so, this offensive line is going to be not good, which is not what you want to see. Now, a month ago, if you would have told me, okay, the offensive line might struggle a little bit in the first month, I would have been a little bit okay with it because the teams that they play in the first month, you can get away with being a little bit shaky up front because they don't have good pass rushes. But the Falcons added Matthew Judon. That's not great if you're a Steelers fan. And then in week 2, they'll play Denver. You can get away with, Denver doesn't have, a great pass rush, so you can kind of get away with it there. Home opener against the Chargers. Khalil Mack is there. Joey Bosa. I think Joey Bosa is he still dealing with something? I feel like Joey Bosa, by default, goes into the season injured. Khalil Mack's a little bit older, but, regardless, he had a bunch of sacks last year. So, while these growing pains might take a little bit to overcome, losing Samalo is not great. Like I said, I thought that Russell Wilson being officially named the starter was going to be the biggest news of the day. I was unfortunately mistaken. But Justin Fields also going to see the field. Diana Rossini reported a few weeks back that, there's going to be a Justin Fields package, and I think we all kind of expected there to be a Justin Fields package. Mike Tomlin, today on the Rich Eisen Show, noted that there's probably going to be, we're going to see Justin Fields in some way, shape, or form. So even though Fields is not starting, they will include him in the offense. How many snaps that will be, don't know. But, if Russ struggles and, Fields gets in for a play and they run a play action off a read option and he connects on a deep touchdown, especially if it's in the home opener, week 3, fans are going to be like, put him in, name him the starter. So I do think that eventually we're going to see Fields as the starter. But not surprising, at least, that Russ is named the starter for week 1. I think everybody in the Steelers sphere, if you're a Steelers fan, you basically expected this. I know that some people are like, oh man, I can't believe that they didn't name Fields. No, everybody, who is paid attention to the Steelers, is around the Steelers, knew, okay, yeah, it's going to be Russ week 1. Justin Fields is going to have to look like Patrick Mahomes and John Elway rolled into one during the preseason for Tomlin to name him the starter week 1. Like, it's going to be Russ. And so we had the inevitable confirmed today. By the way, I mean, go Russ. I don't want to sound like anti-Russ there. Go get him. I hope that he plays extremely well. Man, like I said, we're going to see Justin Fields in a variety of offensive packages. Again, don't know how many snaps that's going to be. If I had to guess, it'll be 6 to 10. If I'm putting a number on it, that would be my rough estimate. So we'll see. Hopefully bigger news with a wide receiver happens here soon. We'll see. Been saying that for 4 months now, man. 4.5 months. Almost 5 months. It's so just... At this point, just do something. Ayuk stuff still isn't going away. Maybe they'll sign Noah Brown, which would give them an upgrade. Maybe they'll trade for John Mechie, which would give them, in my opinion, an upgrade over Van Jefferson on the outside. So hopefully they do something. I agree. Need to do something. But at this point, I'm just tired of waiting. Like, just get it done. Get something done. And at this point, Omar, like, offer a 2 and a 3 for Ayuk. Just do it. I understand that you want to come away looking like you fleeced the 49ers, but bro, if you get Ayuk for a 2 and a 3, you get Brandon Ayuk. Just do it. Hopefully that would get the job done. Because all this waiting and all this, like, oh man, the Steelers, they don't want to give up this and this. No one that you take in the 3rd round is going to bring as much value as Brandon Ayuk is right now. Like, just do it. Give up a 2 and a 3, swallow your pride. You still come away pretty good here because everybody thought that you'd have to give up a 1st-round pick to get him. You didn't give up a 1st-round pick to get him. You gave up a couple day 2 picks. Okay, that's fair. It's fair value for Brandon Ayuk, especially when you look at the different trades that have been made this offseason. Jerry Jeudy went for, what, a pair of day 3s? Deontay went for a day 3 and a player. It's fair value. In today's trade market, that's fair value. Just do it. Quit being stingy. Quit being so goddamn stubborn. Just do it. Offer a 2 and a 3. And look, maybe Omar has done that and John Lynch is the one being stubborn. I don't know. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But if I had to guess, a 2 and a 3 would probably get the job done. Especially because we are 8 days from the season kicking off. And there's no extension for Brandon Ayuk. There's no extension for Trent Williams. And by the way, if you're the 49ers, Trent Williams right now is more important than Brandon Ayuk. Because we saw what happened when you play without Trent Williams last year. You lost 3 straight games. So I think that the best thing that they can do, the 49ers, that is, get something done with Trent Williams. Obviously, I'm very biased here. Just, sign Trent Williams and then trade Brandon Ayuk to Pittsburgh. I think that's a pretty good idea. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm been waiting for something to happen with the receiver for almost 5 months, since the beginning of April. And here we are, still waiting. So, yes, hopefully something happens soon, because we're all tired of waiting. So we'll see. Even though Justin Fields isn't a rookie, our quarterback room feels like it's a veteran and a rookie. Easier to go with the veteran than to the young guy and not vice versa. Yeah, that's fair. And I think that's how most people view it. Is, okay, we'll go with Russ, who has been in the league a lot longer, proven veteran. It kind of reminds me of, it's apples to oranges because, like you said, Fields isn't a rookie. Reminds me a lot of like Kurt Warner and Eli Manning, where Kurt went to New York after being with the Rams for a while. He won a Super Bowl. But the Rams decided to go with Mark Bulger. And so Kurt Warner went to the Giants. And I mean, Kurt Warner even himself personally told Tom Coughlin, like, hey, if and when you decide that you're going to put in Eli, you can't go back to me because that will kill his confidence. So, if you're going to pull me, okay, but you can't put me back in. So I think that there are some similarities with the Russell Wilson and Justin Fields situation to the Kurt Warner, Eli Manning situation 20 years ago. Again, not apples to oranges, or I guess not apples to apples, it's apples to oranges, but somewhat similar. But regardless, we're going to see Justin Fields in some capacity on the field. Like I said, Diana Rossini reported that a few weeks ago. Like, yeah, they have a Justin Fields package. They're going to use it. And Mike Tomlin on the Rich Eisen show today basically confirmed, like, yeah, we're going to use Justin. He's too athletic to just sit there and watch. So how they do it, I don't know. How many plays they're going to do it, I don't know. But they're going to do it, which is good. I mean, you can't just not take advantage of Justin Fields' athleticism. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to not do that. So we'll see what happens. And in terms of Samalo, I mean, we know that it's not season ending now, which is good. That is a big relief. The last thing that the Steelers needed was to lose their best offensive lineman for the year before week 1 even starts. So knowing that it's not season ending, that's great. But the next part is figuring out, okay, well, how long is he lost for? Because the Steelers are now going to have to decide, okay, we're going to put in rookie Mason McCormick, or are we going to, let Spencer Anderson take that spot while Isaac heals up? I mean, those are things that need figured out. So we'll see what they decide to do. Mason did look good in the preseason, though. I'll say that. And in talking to him during OTAs and minicamp, he told me, yeah, they're working me on both sides just to, keep me ready. Oh, good thing they did that, bud, because you're probably going to have to be ready. You have to slot in at left guard. Good luck. I believe he played mostly right guard in college. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of what I recall. But I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Don't quote me on it. But regardless, yes, he's been training on both right and left guard throughout OTA's minicamp. So we'll see. They drafted him for a reason. I think that the reason they mostly drafted him was to groom him for a year. And then when James Daniels goes, give him the opportunity to compete for a starting job in 2025. Hey, Jared, hope all is well. Thank you. I hope everything is well with everybody watching as well. Appreciate that. Would feel less confident having 2 rookies on the interior. Yeah, no, I get that. There's definitely going to be growing pains with that. I will say this, though. I don't necessarily care about if they're a rookie. Like, I feel much more confident having Frazier and McCormick there than I would having Nate Herbig and Spencer Anderson there, just because they've been in the league a little bit longer. Like, if the 2 rookies are the better players, it doesn't really bother me. So I'm not that doesn't worry me too much. Not to put off by that. So, but I get the sentiment there of worrying a little bit about, starting so many rookies. But at this point, like I said, the biggest thing now is, okay, how long is Samalo gonna be out then? Because, we need some clarity on that to see how long they're going to be without them. Tackle depth seems like our biggest issue outside of receiver. I mean, no team in the league has tackle depth. Offensive line depth is kind of a myth. I don't think anybody has offensive line depth. Like, you play your 5 best guys and the other guys aren't starting caliber. That's why they're backups. So, yeah, I think that offensive line depth is a myth anyway, in my opinion. Isaac is hurt. Yes. So Isaac, so if you're just joining and haven't seen Twitter yet, Isaac Seumalo left practice today with a pectoral injury. It's confirmed to not be season ending by Adam Schefter. And a Steelers source told him that they dodged a bullet. Don't know how long he's going to be out, though. But my guess is if there was any worry that it was going to be season ending, he's not going to be playing week 1. I don't think that you can go from, this might be season ending to, never mind, he's playing week 1. I think he's going to miss a certain amount of time. How long that's going to be, don't know yet. Nothing has been put out in terms of the length of the injury. The way they're handling Broderick is annoying. I agree that it's nice having position flexibility, but they're just hurting his development when he already came in as someone that needed some work. Yeah, the handling of Broderick Jones has been laughable. It's not good. And his development has been stunted by the way the Steelers have gone about trying to develop him. So this has been coaching malpractice on their part. And, Tomlin's to blame for that. Pat Myers to blame for that. There's a lot of blame that can be spread around the Steelers coaching staff for everything wrong with the handling of Broderick Jones. And I don't care. Last year, with the Chooks Okorafor stuff, he basically called out the offense for being horrible and he got punished for it. So they benched Chooks when you could have kept Chooks in at right tackle. He was a fine right tackle, not great, but a serviceable right tackle, and put Broderick Jones in at left tackle and developed him for half the year there rather than doing it at right tackle and then drafting a guy you want to play right tackle and then moving Broderick back to left. It's just so much stupidity that they did that they've shot themselves in the foot with because they wanted to be high and mighty against Chooks Okorafor. And it kind of stunted the growth of Broderick Jones because you played him out of position and then you drafted somebody to play that position that you slotted him in. And now he's got to learn left tackle again that he hasn't played now in over a year because he didn't play him there last year. Like, it's just been so stupid the way that they've handled that. So stupid. So all of that's been pretty annoying. I agree. And it's hard for me to blame Broderick Jones for it because when you're constantly moving around, it's hard to get comfortable. Like, it's not Madden where you can just slot in, okay, I'll put him at left tackle instead of right tackle. Like, no. Like, somebody said, I cannot remember who said it. It might have been, was it Greg Rosenthal? Might have been Greg Rosenthal. Or somebody told him. Somebody said that, a left tackle playing right tackle is like wiping your ass with the opposite hand. Like, it's just a little bit weird. That takes some getting used to. And again, it's not Madden where you can just slot an offensive lineman to play wherever you want them. Not everybody can transition between tackle spots. Tristan Wirfs did it because he's really good. I don't think Broderick Jones is as good as Tristan Wirfs. Penny Sewell did it out of college and is now one of the best right tackles in football because he's really good. But not everybody can be a Tristan Wirfs or a Penny Sewell. Why do you think the fans blame Pat Meyer when having your left tackle, left guard, right tackle, and starting center are all hurt? Seems like fans blame the coaches for injuries. I don't even think it's injuries there. Like, the entire development just hasn't been good. And the offensive line hasn't been good since Mike Munchak left. And so when there's a direct correlation between fall off of development of offensive linemen and an offensive line coach leaving, now granted, like, I wasn't expecting, guys like Trey Turner to, turn into all pros in, their 30s. And I wasn't expecting Kendrick Green to be an all pro right away, but for how bad he was, or like Kevin Dotson's a perfect example. They couldn't find a role for Kevin Dotson. They trade him to the Rams and Kevin Dotson automatically just balls out with the Rams. That's a coaching problem. You think Broderick Jones would already be at left tackle if he wasn't injured? Seems like he has no power, and power was his strength last year. I don't know, man. I think Troy Fatano's injury kind of threw a monkey wrench into things too, where they have to start Dan Moore there at left tackle because Broderick played right tackle. Dan Moore is not good at right. If you think Dan Moore is bad at left tackle, put him at right tackle and see how bad he really is. He's not. He's incapable of playing right tackle apparently. So, It's a pain in the butt for sure. Like I said, I would have just put Broderick in at left tackle when you drafted him, because you drafted him to be a left tackle because you knew Dan Moore wasn't good. And they got petty with Chuks Okorafor last year and benched him and put Broderick at right, when they could have just kept Chuks in at right and put Broderick in at left. I don't get it. Don't get it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So now we just got to wait to see, okay, how long is Samalo going to be out for? We'll wait and see. And that'll give a clearer picture as to what the offensive line starting lineup is going to look like in week one and potentially for, the first month and a half of the year. So, but again, if you're just tuning in, yes, Russell Wilson named the starting quarterback. Justin Fields is going to get some plays and, the Justin Fields package that was kind of speculated on throughout the offseason. Diana Rossini reported, I think it was like a month and a half ago, that, they're going to have a Justin Fields package. And then Mike Tomlin today on the Rich Eisen show basically confirmed, Justin's going to see the field. So even though Justin Fields isn't starting, we will still see him in some capacity. And then the bigger news is Isaac Samalo left practice with a pectoral injury. It's not season ending, which is good, but now we just got to kind of wait to see how long he's going to be out for. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We'll do, you get the Steelers shows, the Black and Gold Breakdown, the Pump Fake, my national pod, which released an episode a couple days ago with Mike Tanier. We went over the NFC, predicting every NFC over-under. So that was a lot of fun. Go and watch that. Later on in the week, we'll do AFC over-unders. So that'll be a lot of good stuff for you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're new, make sure to tell some folks about it. Get them to subscribe. All that good stuff. So that's the biggest news of the day. Read the news over at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. We'll keep you updated on this Isaac Samalo situation. But that is the biggest news of the day. Again, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. We'll be back with more Black and Gold Breakdown later on. Michael, no, there's no Ayuk update. It's the same thing that it's been forever. Nothing new. Nothing new. I'm not going to pretend to have sources on that. I don't. But nothing. Nothing new that's coming out is anything new. It's just more word salads. Now, I will say the 49ers not having Trent Williams being willing to hold out into the regular season, that hurts them. Because last year when they played without Trent Williams, they lost 3 straight games. So their offensive line is out. As bad as the Steelers' offensive line looks right now, the 49ers' offensive line outside of Trent Williams might be worse. So you'd say Trent Williams out of that starting lineup, the 49ers aren't going to be nearly as successful. So I think that they'll get something done with Trent Williams because they have to. If they want Brock Purdy to be upright long enough to make anything happen and for their scheme to work. And I think that he's going to be more of a priority than Brandon Ayuk is. They've really just shot themselves in the foot a ton this season. This offseason has been a mess for the 49ers. So my guess, they'll give Trent Williams more money. And I'm still hoping that they trade Ayuk to the Steelers and the Steelers win this little stare down. That's my hope. We'll see if that comes true. But no, nothing new on Ayuk. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up. A good half hour to talk about Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, the injury to Isaac Samalo. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. New stuff on the channel. I talked to Cowboys cornerback Kalen Carson the other day. He's probably going to start while Deron Bland is injured. So talk to him a little bit about the opportunity that he has in front of him. Cowboys open their season against the Cleveland Browns. So Steelers are going to be rooting for Dallas week 1. So go and watch that. That's on the channel. Watch the latest episode of The Pump Fake where we go over NFC over-unders and all that good stuff. And you can also listen to The Pump Fake wherever you get your podcast. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, I will see you soon.